Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Payoneer webinar on unlocking Africa's e-commerce. Before we begin, I would like to thank our webinar partners, FedEx, Jumia, Amazon Seller Society, for not only taking out their time, but lending their expertise to all of us. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our host for today's event, Crystal from Amazon Seller Society. Over to you, Crystal.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you, Shaival, so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this late afternoon, evening, depending on where you're joining us from. We're very excited to be part. I'm very excited. I'm sure the other speakers as well. We're all very excited to be with you here and to talk about unlocking Africa. But first of all, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Crystal Abiasi. I am the founder and the CEO of Amazon Seller Society. Myself, as well as my company, we are completely obsessed. We're obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you, brands and businesses, leave brick and mortar sales and embrace selling on e-commerce marketplaces. Not only that, I myself am a certified blue ocean strategist, and I search and look for blue oceans everywhere I go. If you're not familiar with what blue ocean strategy basically means, it's about creating and capturing uncontested market space, whereby you're making your competition irrelevant. Now, you can do that. You can create uncontested market space and have a product that you are selling without really having competition be relevant by basically choosing the correct type of product to sell on marketplaces, because not all, as you are, I'm sure, quite aware, not all brick and mortar products that are successful in brick and mortar are going to translate to being successful on e-commerce marketplaces, but also, of course, choosing the right marketplace to sell and the right location to sell. So that's why I'm very much obsessed with the Middle East, and you're going to also be additionally obsessed with me with selling in Africa, because both the Middle East and Africa have a very young population. The internet usage is very high. Internet usage and penetration is very high. And compared to North America and Europe, e-commerce, the e-commerce market is relatively new. So you've got a very big opportunity to be selling in the Middle East, but tonight we're going to be focusing as well on Africa. Now, we have three fantastic speakers, and you're going to be hearing from all of them different information. But let me give you a brief idea of what you're going to be, the actionable tips that you're going to be learning tonight. So we're going to be talking about how and why you can sell to customers, or why you should be selling to customers in Africa, from Dario Latorre, who is the Chief Commercial Officer of Jumia Global. Shipping, logistics, fulfillment to and in Africa, Sami Bousaba, who's the Managing Director of Sales for FedEx Express in the Middle East, in the Indian subcontinent, and in Africa. Of course, we're going to be talking about cross-border selling and how you can send and receive your payments in different currencies by Gaurav Shosodia, who is the Director of Affiliate and Partnership Business at Payoneer India. He leads the business development for South Asia. So before we get started, I want you to know that at any time, you can go ahead and ask any question that you find is relevant to the topic that we are discussing. We're going to try to keep the questions till the end, so stay with us till the end. But if you find that your question is relevant, and just pop it into the chat box, and we'll try to answer it then and there. Before we get started, we're going to get started with Dario, of course. Let us know where you are joining us from. So I'm curious. I know most of you are joining us from the UAE, but where are you joining us from? Where are you watching this webinar from? So just so we know where you guys, oh, Shamas is joining us from the Maldives. It starts in the Maldives. Dario, let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Crystal, for this introduction. Thank you, Shaival, for the invitation. So let's get started with this exciting event. Today we are going to talk about how to reach Africa and specifically about Jumia, which I'm representing today. So the brief agenda of today is our group, a bit of brief history for who doesn't know it. What is the potential of the African market? What is the opportunity in this blue ocean? What is the footprint and ecosystem that Jumia has built in the past decade? And then the most interesting part is how can we work together? What are the business models available to collaborate? And how to become a seller of Jumia. So let's get it started. Briefly, our journey. Our company was established in Lagos, the economical capital of the most populous country of the continent, Nigeria. In the following month, we have opened also other 5 key important markets of Africa. In 2016, Jumia was already considered the first Africa tech unicorn. And in 2019, Jumia became public on the New York Stock Exchange. And at this point, we were present in 11 key markets of Africa. In between the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, we have opened Jumia to cross-border from 2 new sourcing hubs, Dubai and Turkey, which will be actually the key focus of today's presentation. These are just a few images of our ring bell ceremony. So what is the opportunity? As Crystal mentioned, this is really a very exciting opportunity and a blue ocean opportunity. For who is not familiar, Africa is a massive continent with a high degree of diversity. There is a population of 1.3 billion. To give you a context, this is about the whole population of China. So it is a massive population base. And more than 500 million, so almost half of the population is actually an active internet user. And the commerce actual situation as of today is highly fragmented, but the spending is already considerable. The most exciting part of this is that it's a very fast growing market and the population is median age is actually below 20 years old. So a very young population, which is open to new shopping experiences, to new ways of actually purchase products. And the penetration on mobile already on mobile, it's actually expected to be already above 70%. So this is very exciting. So what Jumia has built and where is located. So Jumia footprint is in 11 countries of Africa. So actually in terms of share of number of countries over the 54 countries, it's about a fifth of the full number of countries. However, if you look into perspective of the GDP and actually the internet user, with these 11 key markets, we're already covering more than 70% of the continent. So this makes us a truly Pan-African company, a go-to partner if you want to reach Africa. So the question is, now is why Africa, right? In the ecosystem that we have built, Jumia has spent 10 years building this ecosystem, and at the core of it, for sure, there is the marketplace. The marketplace is built of brands, international and local brands, local sellers, that means that are located in the markets that we operate, and cross-border sellers. As of today, these cross-border sellers are mainly located in the Far East, Middle East, and Turkey. In terms of the sales mix, in terms of categories, Jumia has traditionally has been very strong in electronics and phones, when there are still a very important categories for us, especially in value. Here I'm showing volumes, so in terms of items, not in terms of value. Then, of course, we have been evolving in the past years into becoming a daily life platform, right? So to become the destination for everyday's purchase. And of course, fashion, FMCG, home and living, beauty have gained very big importance into this picture. So actually, how can we work together? So we are in 11 markets, and you can actually reach with Jumia 3 markets through the dropshipping model as of today, and 9 markets with the FBJ model. So let's get into the detail of these 2 models and how these models work. The dropshipping model means that you can keep your stock, your products centralized wherever you have them. In this case, I assume that a lot of you are based in Dubai, but could be also Turkey or in the Far East. The stock is centralized in one point. Then now I'm going to take the example of Dubai, and you will be able to integrate with our system through API, or you will be able to use our user interface, the seller center, to put the products and then see and receive the orders. Whenever you get the orders, you will be responsible for picking and packing these orders and dropping off these items at our partner in Dubai, whether it is local market or free trade zone. You drop the package at our partner iMile, and then from that point, the responsibility is on Jumia. So we will be fully responsible for bringing this package until the end of the journey to the end customer in the country of destination. So this means that we will take care of the international shipping, we will take care of the custom clearance and the last mile delivery. So it's quite seamless, it's very seamless and effort-free for you to join Jumia under this business model. You will be required to pay a shipping fee based on the category of this item. All the detail will be provided, but is very reasonable, and we have very good preferred rates. So you don't have to worry about this. Also, to protect you, the cash on delivery method is not available to our customer under this model, so that you are protected. Under the FBJ business model, the vendor actually is responsible for the full transportation, including the custom clearance and the delivery at our door in the warehouses of the respective single countries where we operate in. So in this case, you will need to find partners to ship the items to our doorstep in the warehouses. And then we will be responsible for putting these items in our storage, manage the storage, pack the orders, deliver to other customers. The benefit of this model is that we will reach the customer within 1 to 3 days, compared to approximately 7 days of the dropshipping business model from Dubai. And in this case, you will have a the customer will see available the cash on delivery business model. So in this case, you will access 9 markets. Algeria and Tunisia will not be available. However, I want to precise that these 9 markets can be reached without incorporating a local entity into the country. So with actually Jumia global contract, you will be able to cover the all 9 countries for the FBJ model and all the 3 countries for the dropshipping model. So how can we get this started? So what are the qualifications needed? You will need a business license. The company needs to be incorporated in any country, not necessarily in Africa. So if you have a company in Dubai or any area in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, this is possible. And with one contract, you will be able to cover all the countries, all the 9 businesses or 3 businesses, and both the business models, in case you want to have both the business model. Another very important point is Payoneer is our sole partner for the payment remittances. We have been cooperating with them for a long time as trust partner, and their technology and their support allow us to pay always on time every 2 weeks. So for all the orders that will be delivered in the first half of the month will be paid in a week after the statement closure, and for the one that will be delivered in the second half of the month will be paid within the first week of the following month. Another very important point is that all remittances will be in US dollars, and this will be at the predetermined FX rate. This means that all the risk on the FX is on Jumia, and you do not have to worry of fluctuations or unexpected variation in the FX rate. Joining us is free, so you do not have to pay a deposit, you do not have to pay a fee to join us, and we do not have a monthly fee to keep the account open. Then I close saying that I will pass the links to our Jumia University, which actually contains much more detailed information if you want to browse and get more detailed information. And then there will be a registration form for you to fill and leave the information that you can use to register and show your interest. You will be contacted and we will create the accounts for you. So thanks so much for your attention. I pass the word back to Crystal and the other speakers, and then I will be more than happy to take questions after all the presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dario. I think you're going to get a lot of questions after this. So everyone, if you have a question, don't keep it, type it, and we'll answer it at the end after all our speakers are done. Now, there's something very integral when you want to sell in Africa or anywhere for that matter, and that's logistics. Logistics is a very necessary and essential part of selling online. So to talk a little bit more about logistics and all the logistical support, we've got Mr. Sami Bousaba from FedEx. Sami.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Crystal. I just need to get this up and running. So maybe a quick thumbs up, Crystal, if it's there. Thank you. So yes, thanks for the introduction. It's a real pleasure to be here with everyone today. And I'm really here to give a couple of things, a global perspective, first of all, on how we feel logistics is a game changer. Like you rightly said, Crystal, it is an integral part of the e-commerce ecosystem. And we want to talk about how the evolving global e-commerce market has changed and how we can help support your strategy to reach and serve customers around the world and specifically in Africa. So since I've joined FedEx actually over 24 years ago, which sounds like a lifetime, the rise of e-commerce and its use by consumers to find, to purchase, to manage the delivery of goods online has been one of the biggest shifts I've ever seen in my interaction in my career at FedEx. E-commerce is a significant, very significant and very exciting trend. Why is that? Because it's the only ecosystem, in my opinion, that allows an SME or even a micro enterprise to compete directly with a large global corporation on the same playing field. That's why e-commerce is a game changer, and that's what makes it so exciting for us. So over the next few minutes, I want to talk about kind of a global perspective on e-commerce, you know, what we're seeing, what our customers say matters to them in how they build their online services, and what has been critical to their success. Of course, we'll be looking also at how we can harness the growth of e-commerce to support business, and we'll share our expertise on what we feel, what elements make a difference in how we grow cross-border trade. I think it goes without saying, you know, we can't have these days a Zoom call without talking about the pandemic, but I think it's really relevant that the pandemic has truly kind of shown a spotlight or reinforced the bottlenecks that were already there before the COVID pandemic. There were a lot of bottlenecks and the pandemic just exposed them. in terms of how we look at the e-commerce ecosystem. And I think everyone will agree that those bottlenecks came out pretty clearly over the last year and a half. It made logistics companies have to take a step back and rethink, how do we engage with shippers? How do we be more flexible in how we manage our deliveries? And how is that affecting the actual businesses? 90% of executives at consumer product companies said they are specifically prioritizing speed over anything else and focusing on how their supply chains can react to consumer needs. That is the big game changer in what this pandemic has done for everybody. And I think it's really changed our mindset and how we look at logistics and supply chains. So turning our attention a little bit to Africa, I do want to give some facts and I think feed right off of what my colleague Dario covered. Currently, today, 17% of the world's population resides in Africa. By 2050, that's going to rise to 25%. That's a quarter of the world's population residing in Africa. Also today, it's known that 12 of 25 fastest growing cities in the world are in Africa. That's half of the fastest growing cities in the world are in Africa right now. By 2030, 43% of the African population is expected to join what's known as the upper and middle class. So on top of that, you have the e-commerce trend. E-commerce, we know, goes without saying, we're all here to talk about it. It's growing at astronomical rates. We know that by 2021, by this year, it'll reach $4.5 trillion of sales globally. And Africa is part of that growth story. E-commerce revenue in Africa is expected to reach $28 billion this year. And across Africa, the number of people shopping online is expected to go from 334 million to 478 million over the next 3 years alone. That's an opportunity too good to ignore for all of us. And it's really about how you be prepared for that. Because if you're not already equipped to take advantage of this and to get online and take advantage of this consumer potential, then the time is now to go and do that. You cannot ignore this opportunity. This also presents a trend. This trend also presents an opportunity, not only for businesses within Africa, but for all of us on the call right now that are outside of Africa to grow their business into the continent. That's a huge opportunity that we all can take advantage of. And I think Christelle outlined that very clearly in the beginning of her talk. Now, why has this growth been so astronomical? It's really about the digital technology transformation. 7 of the top 10 fastest growing internet populations in the world are in Africa. And according to the GSMA's mobile economy report, 84% of the population is going to have access to mobile phone or smartphones by 2025. That indicates an opportunity to leverage this for online shopping. Mobile technology in particular has emerged as the platform of choice to buy and sell goods, thanks to its availability, its simplicity, and convenience, not only for African consumers, but also the entrepreneurs and SMEs that serve the continent's economy. So what this means overall is, I think we can all agree that e-commerce has a huge potential to become an even larger part of the economic activity and consumers across Africa. Now, how does this changing behavior alter how we find and engage your customers? First and foremost, I think every business, all of us need to recognize that we live in a socially connected world. I've mentioned the figures already on adoption and the uptake of mobile technology. But what this doesn't show is the evolution in how we not only interact with each other online, but the importance of socially driven product reviews and recommendations. I'm sure we've all had examples of this. You know, you have a time when a family member, a friend, they post something on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or anything of the 1,000 sites saying they either love the product or they're really disappointed in a product or a service they received. And this can range from product recommendations, you know, feedback on food at a restaurant, to highlighting the experience from a customer service rep. Customers place great value on what they perceive to be real experiences, more than they place value on advertising and marketing. So I challenge all of you today, ask yourselves this question. How are you engaging your customers online? Are you present in more than one channel? Do you provide an opportunity for customers to share their love for your product on their own social accounts? And do you encourage a conversation between you and your customers? So your customers are going to be having these conversations whether you like it or not. Whether you're engaged or not, they're going to be talking about your product. The only question is whether you're going to be a part of it and put yourself in a position to benefit from it. So with these social and technological changes, we are seeing a leveling of the landscape on how companies operate. Example, in South Africa alone, there are more than 2.2 million small, medium, and micro enterprises. One aspect which ties all these together is their access and their use of the internet and digital technologies. To a customer, finding a product sold by and then buying from an SME can be just as simple as buying from a global, powerful brand. So this means, again, there's an opportunity for trade, including cross-border e-commerce, if you're ready to take it up. From our experience in serving 220 countries and territories worldwide, we recognize that this growth of e-commerce is here to stay, obviously. It's just a matter of ensuring that you have the right support, you have the right resources and the right technology and infrastructure to not just grow your customer base, but be profitable now and into the future. So I'd like to just take a little bit of a break and show you a quick video, hopefully it works on the stream, of how we were enabling trade for businesses, both big and small, for decades.
The world is a big place, but get online and you can order products from across the globe. What enabled these businesses to expand internationally? Trade. Global trade is essential to the world economy, and FedEx is there, connecting businesses to consumers in more than 220 countries and territories. With over 7 billion potential customers worldwide, are you ready to take your business global? The answer is yes, with the help of FedEx. The world is...
So since 2019, we've seen this demand and we've responded. We've operated a flight directly from a FedEx flight connecting Africa to the world. So we have a Boeing 777 flight that operates once a week, traveling from Memphis to Dubai and then on to Johannesburg, South Africa. That flight then connects Africa in its return back to Dubai, then on to Malpensa and back to Memphis. This provides greater connectivity to and from key trade lanes in Europe, Middle East, USA, and Africa, all to bolster that global trade. And thanks to the addition of this flight, we're able to offer enhanced services to meet demands of our customers and give you access to 99% of the world's GDP, with also the addition of new services and solutions. I just want to touch base on a little bit of the technology before I wrap up here. We've been innovating the supply chain since our first day of operations back in 1973. And our collaboration with Microsoft, which recently got announced, continues this evolution in how we connect and serve our customers, creating opportunities that will use data and analytics, solutions to reinvent the commercial experience, and to enable businesses to better compete in today's digital landscape. FedEx Surround is the first solution resulting from the FedEx and Microsoft collaboration. This allows any business to gain greater visibility into their supply chain. It allows them to leverage data to provide real-time analytics into shipment tracking, driving more precise logistics, and even inventory management. So while most people are reactive to the dynamics and the global logistics, FedEx Surround is giving a proactive, real-time insight into your supply chain. And it shines a light, a digital light, I should say, on the progress and movement of physical inventory, which is such an integral part of the e-commerce ecosystem. And finally, last mile delivery. I think we all should recognize that the time when the customer receives their purchase physically is one of the key steps in this e-commerce shopping experience, and one of the moments when you are most engaged with your buyer. So what any retailer wants is delivery to the customer, obviously on time, as committed, and with the product delivered in good condition. This can be affected, though, by so many different factors, including poor infrastructure, warehouse readiness, inefficient last mile networks, or a lack of knowledge on managing shipments across borders. So as a result, our industry in logistics has a significant role to play both in the support and growth of e-commerce, wherever the seller or customer is located, and as a partner to help provide an outstanding customer experience to your buyers. So to meet this demand, we're ever changing our business models. We're taking steps to address emerging trends in e-commerce, focusing on investment and operations to meet the demands of the consumer and the businesses like yourselves that will eventually be serving them. So with the right business partners, the right resources and advice, taking your business across borders is likely easier than you may think. And of course, we at FedEx are here to help. So we encourage you to please scan the code, let us help you with your needs into Africa or anywhere else in the world. And I thank you for your time, and thank you, Crystal, for hosting us.
Thank you so much, Sammy. That was so insightful. I'm sure a lot of people have, a lot of questions to ask you. But again, keep those questions till the end. So we talked about a marketplace to sell, how to ship your products. Now we want to talk about how you're able to get your money once you start selling. So Gaurav, let's get started with your presentation and talk a little bit about Payoneer and how Payoneer facilitates cross-border selling.
Thanks, Crystal, and thanks, Dario and Sami. I think both your presentations were very insightful. Am I audible? Great. I think like Crystal is obsessed with getting people online. As an organization, we are obsessed with ensuring that SMBs grow their business and are successful. And that's why as an organization, we are a big advocate of cross-border business and e-commerce as a category within cross-border business. So maybe I'll talk about why cross-border, I'll talk about e-commerce trends, why Africa, and some of the payment aspects you need to look into before choosing a payment service provider. Hopefully should be able to complete it in the next 10 minutes, and then we can open it up for questions. Okay, great. So first thing first, I'm not sure whether Dario said or Sammy said, I thought they read my presentation. E-commerce is here to stay very clearly. If I look at data points from 2020, global retail sales grew by 3%. However, e-commerce grew by 27%. And if I look at the graph on the right hand side, I'm assuming there is a if I look at the graph on the right hand side, we clearly see by 2025 e-commerce is going to be 25% of overall retail sales. So 1 in every 4th sale across the globe, across millions and billions of stores, everything will happen through e-commerce. That's a big number to have. Another big trend which not necessarily shown here is global retail sales is not necessarily growing at the same pace. E-commerce is catching up pretty fast. So very, very staggering data points or facts in favor of e-commerce. Continuing the same thought, some of the more data points on cross-border commerce. If you look at it, in 2020, there were $3.5 trillion of transactions happened on e-commerce. Cross-border e-commerce was $1 trillion. So it's more or less 1/3 of the overall business. There are 1 billion cross-border e-commerce buyers. Imagine which country can give you that kind of a buyer base for your products. The answer is more or less none. Another important data point is typically a cross-border e-commerce is growing at 2x the speed of the domestic e-commerce. I understand UAE, MENA is comparatively new if I compare it to US and China when it comes to e-commerce. But very clearly, if you're into e-commerce and if you're not into cross-border e-commerce, maybe you're missing out something. As an interesting point, again, 27% of the cross-border e-commerce has a growth rate of 27%. Why e-commerce is so important for SMBs, and maybe this is my favorite slide across my presentation. So if you look at economies, the number of firms which are into exports, if I look at traditional SMBs, 3 to 4 out of 100 will be into exports. If I look at, and this is a global data, if I look at e-commerce firm, it's 30 to 40 out of 100. So clearly, e-commerce firms are the firms which are into more into cross-border export, which means that there is no barrier of countries or location or distances here. If you look at the graph in the middle, traditional SMEs have a survival rate of 30 to 50%. If you're into e-commerce export, it's almost double from 60 to 80%. Again, the last one is again something which is very interesting. Domestic focused e-commerce average growth rate is 58%, whereas if you're into cross-border, it's 91%. All in all, if you're into e-commerce, great. But if you're into cross-border e-commerce, even better, because the survival rates are higher. You're gonna go faster than the competition. Multiple bunch of reasons why somebody should be into cross-border e-commerce. Why Africa? Although Sammy and Darius both covered this, some of them might be a repetition. Large population, $1.3 billion, and I'll correct myself there. I think what's important to look at is this. The graph on the right. This 1.3 will become in 2100s will become close to 4 billion. They're growing way faster than some of the other geographies, right? So you have a continent which already has 1.3 billion people and growing very fast. Young population who's willing to, and 300 is 527 if I remember correctly from the previous deck. We have close to 500 million people who are willing to buy online. And guess what? This is growing at a fast pace. There is no reason you should not be in Africa. Why not? As a region, Middle East and North Africa is showing a growth rate of close to 12% CAGR. And if I look at Africa alone, it's close to 14%. So, and again, some big markets, Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, again, a lot of places where Jumia is already present and doing very well. So definitely some of the geography we should look into. If I look at growth in online shopping, some very, very interesting data, right? So yeah, there are 27 plus 36, which is like 63% of the people are either buying weekly or monthly. And if I look at the graph on the right, there are 37 people who are saying that they're going to buy slightly more. And there are 25% of the people who are saying that we're going to buy significantly more online. Again, thanks to marketplaces like Jumia, who are building this trust, who are ensuring the good quality product, who are ensuring the cost efficiencies, and logistics players like FedEx, who are ensuring the delivery and the last mile delivery is great. And from customer experience perspective, things are coming to them fast at a great price. We are seeing this upstick and uptrend in adoption within Africa when it comes to e-commerce. Again, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya seems to be three big markets where digital adoption seems to be faster than some of the other geographies in Africa. If I were you, I would start with some of these countries before expanding to some of the others. Again, clearly, COVID did accelerate e-commerce business across the globe. Multiple reasons, more convenient, more options, safe option. And this trend is not going to reverse anytime soon. So if you've not started, I think it's the right time to start. Within Africa, some of the other, which are the categories which get sold, and I think this was covered earlier also, but having said that, if you're into fashion, if you're into electronics, if you're into toys, not only that these overall contribution of these segments is higher, also they're growing at a pretty fast pace. So if you look at fashion, it's going to grow from 5.9 million euros to almost 9,000 euros, right? 9,000 million euros. So it's going to get doubled. Similarly, toys is going to grow almost double. Similarly, even your food and cosmetics seems to be growing. So if you're in some of these categories, great. Please go ahead, test, pilot, and start your business in Africa. Maybe I'll take 2-3 slides. It's not only about finding buyers, but it's also equally important to ensure that your money comes home safe, right? So what are the things you actually need to look at when you decide your payment service provider? Although when it comes to Jumia, we are exclusive, but the idea here is to not only look at Jumia, but look at your overall cross-border business and be sure on various factors before choosing a payment service provider. So as per us who've been in this industry, there is a checklist of 5. One in the topmost is regulatory compliance. It's very important that your payment service provider, and having said that, cheapest one doesn't mean the safest one. So it's important that your regulatory compliance is there. The respective payment service provider has those regulatory approvals to operate in this market. Second is risk fraud prevention. This is more from a customer perspective. As a payment service provider, if you have a capability to have PCI DSS, only go with service providers who have that. Otherwise you'll always find a higher risk fraud chargebacks from the payment service provider. Always look for a payment service provider who has integrations with your accounting, time tracking platforms, ERP platforms. So what it does is it makes your accounting way more simpler. You don't need to spend day and night to reconcile your transactions. Fourth important one is obviously the cost bit of it, the speed bit of it, and the success rates. And last but not least is the transparency. Choose a player who's been there in the market. Choose a player who's known for their transparency versus any other player. So keep this checklist in mind. In case you have any doubt, you can always reach out to us and we'll help you out. As a Payoneer, as an organization, we work with more than 5 million customers. It says 4, but it's actually 5 million customers across the globe. We work with more than 2,000 marketplaces. You name a player and we work with them, whether it's on marketplace sites, whether it's Jumia, Amazon, eBay, Walmart. What we support is close to 100 plus currencies, more than 200 countries and territories. From a customer support perspective, we support 70 plus languages across the globe. Some of our licenses across, whether it's US, Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, India. So over and above that, what kind of customers do we support? So if you're an e-commerce seller and if you're a cross-border e-commerce seller, we have products for you. If you're a service provider who's into giving service to people in the West, US, Europe, or anywhere across the globe, and you need to get paid, we work with you guys. If you're an SMB, whether it's goods or services, and let's take an example, you're based out of UAE and you have customers in Nigeria and you need to get paid, you can use us. Or if you're in you need to get paid from Nigeria, or if you want to get paid from Jumia or any other marketplaces, you can use us. I covered this aspect, but you name a big enterprise who's into cross-border business, and they work with us. So this is a question maybe which will come later on, and I've tried to preempt it and answer it earlier. So why would somebody open a Payoneer account? What functionalities does Payoneer give to you? So high level, it gives you, if you're a B2B service provider, what we provide you is we provide you virtual collection accounts in 9 odd currencies. So whether it's USD, whether it's GBP, whether it's pound, whether it's AED, whether it's Singapore dollar. So we support close to 9 odd currencies. These act as our virtual collection accounts. If you want to get paid from marketplaces, you can use these virtual accounts and get paid. We provide invoice-based solution. So if you have to raise an invoice to somebody in US of $1,000, you can just log into Payoneer, generate an invoice and send it to your client. He will click on the option. He'll get an option to pay by local bank account, through a debit card, credit card, or an e-check, which is only available in India. US. Over and above that, if you're a drop shipper, you buy from China, sell in Africa, you get paid from Jumia to your Payoneer account, and from there you can actually make payments to China. So we have something called as payouts mechanism. we work with multiple logistic players. We have integrations with the ERP players so that your accounting and your other aspects of business becomes really, really simple. On the other hand, you can withdraw this money to a bank account, you can withdraw this money to a ATM wallet, ATM card, you can withdraw this money to a virtual card, which you can use to buy inventory on Google, Facebook. You can pay VAT in Europe. In some of the geographies, we also have a working capital as a product. So high level, this is what we provide as a solution to various type of segments. Why use Payoneer? We save more, integrated solutions, speed, compliance, transparency. These are some of the key pillars we have for our organization when it comes to payments. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. I'm sure everyone, you've got a lot of questions, including myself. I've got a lot of questions. So please get your fingers typing, get your questions, whether type them in the chat or the Q&A. I've already seen a lot of them. But Gaurav, since we're talking, since we just ended, I got a private question for you on my phone, on my email, sorry. So let's talk about it. From a payment infrastructure perspective, what would a seller need to sell into marketplaces in Africa?
If it's only a marketplace, I think all you need is a Payoneer account. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide you virtual collection account in USD, Euro, GBP. If you're selling on Jumia, you can just connect it to your Jumia seller account. The money moves from Jumia to your Payoneer account. You keep the money in your wallet. You want to withdraw to a bank, you can do that. You can withdraw to a card, you can do that. You want to make payments to your supplier, you can do that. So all you need to do is open a Payoneer account, and it takes 2 minutes to complete the details, and we approve accounts, 80% of the accounts within 2 hours, and the rest of them within 24 hours.
Perfect. Thank you. So I have a question for Dario and also for Sami, but let's start with your answer, Dario. And the question is related to logistics, because logistics, and I believe that customers nowadays have become spoiled. They want their products, when they purchase the products, they want them fast. So how does Jumia facilitate logistics? I know you went through it, but we got so many questions of people asking a little bit more in details. So how does it really work, and how do you fulfill orders for sellers, brands, and businesses that want to reach customers in Africa? So I guess, Dario, let's talk about, you know, the dropshipping model as well as the FBJ, and then we'll move on to Sami, where he'll help us a little bit more figure out how FedEx can help with bulk shipping.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Crystal, and Sami and Gaurav for your contributions as well. So regarding to this, I believe, like, start on the dropshipping model. I saw also some questions related to where are these hubs, etc. Right?
Yes.
So,
yes, we got, sorry to stop you. We got a question from someone who's in Turkey asking if you have any hub other than Dubai. I think that's the one that you were referring to. Yeah,
correct. Yes. So as of today, in the Middle East and the Asia, let's say West Asia, we have Dubai as a hub. Okay, and we also have Turkey. Okay, so Dubai and Turkey are two very important hubs for us, and our vendors need to be able to reach these hubs with the products within 3 business days. So this is our time limit, because, as you said, the customers want items fast, right? So if we let the customer wait for very long, is not going to be a very good experience for the customers. So 3 business days is our limit, and the package will need to reach one of our partners either in Dubai or in Turkey. Of course, we have also the Far East, so this means Hong Kong and multiple locations across mainland China. So in this case, once the package, as I mentioned before, once the package arrives there, we will take care of the specific routing and bring the package to the countries where the customer is located in. And Jumia has more than 5,000 employees across all the different geographies. And part of these are actually delivery people, and we keep this in-house, part of one of our arms of our company, Jumia Logistics, which is part of our ecosystem, which is strong experience in a decade of last mile delivery and fulfillment. Then on the other side, on the FBJ, items are already stored in the country. So of course we suggest for, let's say, a more like the short tail items or like high repurchase items, or what are the top selling products to be stored into the local warehouses. In this case, with also our facilities and our last mile delivery fleet, we are able to reach the customer within 1 to 3 business days. What is remarkable is already like last year, Black Friday, more than 50% of the packages that were in our Jumia Express, so sitting in our warehouse, were actually delivered within 24 hours. So this is great for the customer experience. Then here, the help of FedEx can come in. If you need a partner, if you need a reliable partner to get the items into the countries, then for sure, Sami can tell you a bit more about how they can support you to get the items into Africa.
Perfect. So Sami, if somebody wants to either, I know we discussed this previously, but if someone has their own e-commerce website, for example, and they get customers and they want fulfillment of individual orders, or whether they want to bulk ship their items to the Jumia warehouses in Africa so that they can enroll them in FBJ. Give us a little bit of insight.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Dario, for your recommendation as well. I think it's important to realize, just taking a step back, FedEx is a network, right? And we built this network over many, many years that now comprises of over 680 airplanes, flying around the world with 600,000 employees delivering your product really from corner to corner. And a lot of people maybe take that for granted, but what it really means is anywhere you go with either one small product that's going from your website to one consumer, or a bulk delivery of 50 products to Jumia warehouse, our network is there and it's seamless. And that's the power of a global network. It doesn't leave the network. It is in our custody, in our scanning technology, as I mentioned on the all the different technological advances we've put into this network. We have that built in, no matter where it's picked up from to where it's going, within 48 to 72 hours. So to meet Dario's 3-day time limit, we also are there to support that very quick network. So we don't have set, you must have a presence here and a presence there. It doesn't matter where you are, we will connect you to the world and back. And I say and back because there is a huge section of e-commerce that we didn't touch on too much today, but that's the returns piece, right? And we all know how critical returns is to any e-commerce value proposition. So yes, our network is set up. It's been set up for many years. It's only going to get more advanced and stronger to help support your movement of goods and give access across the world.
Yeah, thanks, Sami. If I may, I will add a bit on this, right? As you mentioned, I think that we have hubs in Dubai and in Turkey, right? But if you are able to, for example, prepare a package in a day, you are located in any area in the Gulf or Europe, you could actually find a courier that feeds the package into the Dubai free zone or into Turkey. And then from there, Jumia collects it and takes it, right? So then these are where we have the hubs as of today, but you can actually plug into those hubs, use that existing network and use the dropshipping model as well.
Perfect. Dario, can I ask you to please share the QR code or how somebody can contact Jumia? Because I'm getting a lot of questions about that. The QR code that was in your presentation.
Absolutely, I will share it in the chat now. It's a
Yes.
form. It's actually a Google form. You can submit the information. That would be the easiest way.
Mm-hmm. Because do you want to address the questions, or would you rather they reach out to you directly? Questions like, can we sell books? Can we sell automobile parts? Do you want to address those, or would you rather that people reach out to you? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me give a general introduction. So I am pasting the link here, so everyone, wait, I'm sharing. I will be sharing this to everyone. Here we go. So here you can just send us some basic information into this link. Just put in the chat. So we will connect with you within this week, or maximum early in the next week. So we will be proceeding with this. So in terms of products, I see a lot of information. So as I mentioned, Africa, it's a very diverse continent, right? So it's a bit hard to have a very general general idea on all the products. But for sure, Jumia is against counterfeits, and Jumia protects IP. Okay, so of course, whether you are a distributor or directly the brand, we will ask for proof and authorization. So as long as you are selling a genuine product, you will be allowed to sell on our marketplace. But you need to prove either via official invoicing that you have purchased from the manufacturers, or through authentic and distributorship licenses that you are authorized to sell these products. Then, if you are yourself the brand, or you are an official distributor for the area, you may be part of the Jumia Mall, which is that section of our website that is dedicated to brands. Okay, so this is to give even more authority and like more visibility to your brands. We work with major conglomerates and brands already are featured in the Jumia Mall. Feel free to go and visit. But anyway, the most important point, the first point is we need to have genuine products. Otherwise, we have actually severe penalties for this, and eventually your account will be closed if there are continued issues. Then in terms of access, so I saw something about car accessories. Yes, I think as long as, so if they are like officially, like they are a distributor of these products, of course, if they are items for, like if they are accessories for that specific make and model, so for example, is I don't know, a compatible product that is listed as an OEM product that works for that specific brand, but is not branded, these are also potentially sellable, right? As important is clear communication to the customer. So if it's, you know, there are also some compatible products with the original, as long as they're not like, as long as they are not promoted as original, these are, there could be also sold, but they need to be genuine. Then I saw drone, something related to drone. Drone
accessories and drone spare parts.
Yes. Okay. So on the more on a, I take this to generally a bit. You know that like airlines have some strict regulation. For this, I mean, I think Sami can give more detailed examples, but some kind of batteries actually are forbidden. Okay, so if there are like lithium batteries, that are standalone batteries, these usually are not allowed unless on specific authorization and like some specific, like very stringent documentation will be asked, as well as liquids or like some powders and something related to beauty. These are challenging categories to do on the dropshipping model because of the transportation. However, again, if the products are branded, you have the right materials, you're already shipping to other marketplaces, and you have what is called an SDS, this kind of like a safety sheet of the material that you're shipping. Yes, you will be allowed to ship these products. Specifically on drones, it's more complex because some countries in Africa don't allow any kind of reconnaissance or like a specific like kind of spy kind of like cameras or these kind of products. So in some countries they are actually forbidden to import. So it's a custom issue. So these we have a list on our Jumia University which actually gives specific guidance on these forbidden products and what is allowed as well. A lot of like FMCG products, I see questions related to personal care, etc. Yes, we work with all the big conglomerates into the FMCG categories. So we definitely have a very good space there, and there is a high demand and are growing categories. So for sure, there is possibility to sell these categories.
Okay, we have a couple of questions more that we're gonna be answering. And anything else, you know, everyone, if you've got additional questions, you can reach out to Jumia, Payoneer, and FedEx directly if you have any additional questions. Where it's a very good thing to realize, Dario, that Jumia is Jumia needs to make sure that the customer and the end user has a good experience. And Sami talked about having, giving customers a really good experience, which is very necessary nowadays. So for everyone who's asking, like Chandrika, who is a very successful seller, by the way, she manages a very big brand right here. They're selling on marketplaces in the Middle East. So she's asking basically if there's demand for, you know, personal care and laundry capsules. I do believe people in Africa, of course they use these products, but of course for someone who's looking to start on a new marketplace as well as serve a new market like Africa. Dario, and then I'm gonna also ask this question to Sami. How do you feel the demand, based on your experience with Jumia, how has the demand evolved? Do you find that the demand is for specific types of products, or is it just for everything?
Well, thanks for the question. The demand is across all categories, of course. As I shown before, there are like categories that also due to the contingency and the pandemic have gained importance in the past years. So the high repurchase categories, the grocery, the personal care products, definitely, and fashion, these are definitely categories that have gained importance. But the demand is also for electronics and especially on those very quality for money specifications products, right? We are like sending a lot of products that are very efficient in terms of pricing and the population and the market is price sensitive. So there is actually a great opportunity to make big volumes into the lower price points, especially on like known brands, but also not so known brands, if the specifications are very good for the price. Then in terms of connecting to also what Sami and Gaurav has mentioned, I think it's extremely important to mention in Africa, as of today, we are not even at 1% of the e-commerce share of transactions. So this number has grown in the past years from basically 0 10 years ago to almost 1%. But this means just that the potential is absolutely massive, right? It's like countries like US, and it's well above 10%. China, I've been reading that it's almost reaching 30% of the transaction online. So, I mean, the potential of converting and moving customers to online is highly untapped. So the demand is growing and the untapped market is massive. And also, I believe it's now the time to at this stage, the right time to join Africa and join Africa through Jumia, because this is the time where you build your brand, you start building your awareness, you build either your store or you build your brand into the markets, and then you will just need to grow organically into the platform, right? And you're just establishing already a presence now when the market is at the beginning stage, is already of a considerable size. Actually, it's bigger than what you would expect. But then this is, in my opinion, in the next years, in the coming years, this is going really to skyrocket.
Perfect. Sami, I would love to hear your thoughts on and what, according to your experience, personal and obviously with FedEx, how you've seen Africa evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, I mean, we've talked a lot about numbers and trends, you know, from all of the presentations that you saw today through Gaurav and Dario and myself. But I think there's two major elements to this, right? One is economics, just basic economics. You have a young population, you have people who are getting more disposable income, more spending power, growing workforce, so means more salary, et cetera. That's going to continue. That trend is obviously going the right direction. And then on top of that, you have, as Dario said, very low penetration of online use. But the potential of online use is there. Technology is very well accepted and used in Africa. So all it takes now is to leapfrog kind of where other maybe markets were, because other markets didn't have that technology. They had to build that technology and that acceptance and then adopt e-commerce. We already have the right ingredients. Now it's just a matter of starting it and getting it in and really giving access to that market, both for the sellers and also the buyers. And that's where I think all of us come in. Jumia comes in, Payoneer comes in, FedEx comes in providing that access. So those three things come together, you're going to have a success story, right? So, I mean, we've seen demand. I mean, Africa, of course, there's pockets because Africa is a continent, not a country, right? So a lot of pockets, but there's a lot of demand in those, in the right markets that we see as tremendous potential. So it's just a matter of putting those building blocks together.
As a follow-up question to you, and then I'm going to ask Dario the same question. What potential, let's say, hurdles does someone need to think about when they want to, or they need to be aware about of once they expand into Africa?
Yeah, I think when you look at African markets versus maybe other parts of the world, and let's compare the Middle East, right? There are obviously maybe some differences in terms of infrastructure. I think that's a given. And I think we see companies like Jumia and FedEx really overcome those last mile obstacles. There, you know, we can overcome those. But I think the biggest difference in how you do business in some of these markets is the customs clearance angle, because a lot of us overlook that in some cases when they try to look at a new market. And you look at the list of products that we see on this chat, we see compressor parts, we see drone parts, we see laundry capsules. All of those will have customs regulations around them. And those regulations will be different per market. So you have to really understand that before you enter a market. If you don't, you're going to get so far and then it'll just stop. So our advice is make sure you do your research, have the right understanding of the market, be compliant, because obviously we won't do anything that's non-compliant, and just be ready for penetrating that market. But customs clearance, I think, is the biggest difference.
100%. And I guess, Dario, this is also to answer Mark's question, who's saying, do you provide fulfillment services, or is this purely a drop shipping model? Is it the reason why you set up a drop shipping? Is the reason why you have set up a drop shipping model is to make things much easier for sellers who want to enter into the market and don't want to face the customs issue that Sami just talked about?
That's correct. I mean, every model has its pros and cons, right? So it also needs to fit the right partners, right, and what is their current operating model. So if someone wants to test the market or has some available stock in Dubai, it's effortless to join and start with dropshipping, right? There is not a big upfront investment to start, right? It's just the time to create an account, connect with us, upload the products, and then the products will sell by themselves. There may be some if they want to accelerate the traffic, there are some marketing tools that can be used to increase the traffic, but basically the products can just be listed on the platform, and if they're relevant for the customers, they will be purchased, right? So it's a very easy way, and the first step also to collect the data for sellers to start through the dropshipping to understand more about the African market. So for especially those that do not have big familiarity with the African market, collect the data on which products work, and then the products that maybe have a higher purchase rate and work well, they can be also shipped into our fulfillment centers into the warehouses. And then, of course, keep the two models working hand in hand. The FBJ business model is very successful for those categories that usually are quite short tail, so that have not a very vast assortment. It could be basic fashion, it could be electronics in some specific categories, phones, of course, television, whatever is bulk, etc. Needs to go through that fulfillment model. But of course, if you want to reach diversity, if you are a fashion brand with 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 SKUs, the best model, of course, is the drop shipping, at least to understand what the market wants, what are the styles that work best, right? So this is also a very big opportunity that we give through the drop shipping model to the sellers to start working with us without a very big upfront investment. So I encourage to start trying with the drop shipping model for those that have some assortment and want to try and understand more about the market. And it's drop shipping through Jumia. It's not drop shipping by yourself. So yeah, correct. Just call it, yeah, because drop shipping does have like I know I always talk about drop shipping being a negative business, but drop shipping in itself is negative if you're making the customer wait over 30 days to get their products, which is going to be a very big problem. But once you're doing it through the marketplace themselves, it's just basically providing you support as a seller to keep your costs down and do all of that. Thanks, Crystal. I think I will specify on this as a great opportunity. So by us drop shipping exactly means that you drop it to us and then we are in charge of everything, right? So we make it easy for you to reach the customer. The customer actually purchased through us, and the entire journey is managed under the control and the responsibility of Jumia. From Dubai, we are about 7 days delivery from the order placing to the delivery to the customer on average. So we are still able to provide good customer experience to our buyers. And Jumia is a very trustworthy shipping destination in Africa. So we have, of course, the trust of our customers. So they know that if they pay to Jumia, even if it's prepaid with credit cards or Jumia Pay, definitely we are there. We have a physical presence in the countries. As I mentioned, we have offices and warehousing in 11 countries. We have fulfillment centers with pick up and drop off points. So people have seen Jumia in the territory, right? We are not a company located in a complete different geography. So we give the trust to customers. And another very important point is we give the service of through the dropshipping model in a very transparent way to the customers. So when the customer checks out, all the fees are included. So we do not have surprises in terms of taxes, the additional delivery fees, etc. So if the customer chooses to pick up in one of our centers, they go to pick it up there at no extra fee. If the customer decides to get the item delivered at the door, the item will be delivered at the door and there will not be extra charges. So this is very important. Another part that maybe is also worth mentioning, that could be in the mind of someone in terms of what could be the headache of returns and reverse logistics, for example. In this case, Jumia having a fulfillment center in each of the country, what we do is whenever we have a return, Jumia has a team in the warehouses that will assess if the item has not been damaged, has not been used, and is a fair return of the customer. So it could be a defect of the item or something similar. Then if the item is defective, of course, it's set aside and we will connect with the vendor. If the item is actually resellable, we will inbound it in one of our fulfillment centers in the country. And then the next customer that will order that specific item, we will be able to give that item to the customer. So this is a great advantage compared to many other marketplaces because we have the possibility to do not get these returns wasted, but they can be actually resold to the next customer. And just, I think also it's very important to mention that a return rate on Jumia, it's actually about 5%. And for some, this is actually below 5% for most of the categories. And this, I think, is a very different data point compared to many other countries. So if you're used to sell, I don't know, in Southeast Asia or in more mature markets where actually the return rates are in the order of maybe 20, 30%, this is not the case in Africa. So actually we have a very limited return rate. So you do not have actually to worry about returns too much.
Thank you so much, Dario. Dario and Sami, I think I can ask you a million questions, and I'm sure the participants and attendees as well. But my last question is going to be to Gaurav, because we got a lot of questions also for Payoneer. But one main question is, can we collect and send, just to make it clear, can we collect and send payments in all of the top markets in Africa, as was mentioned by Dario in Jumia? So all of the Jumia markets or countries were able to collect money through Payoneer. No problem there. Short answer, yes.
Long answer, maybe we'll create a video with you guys to show how to do it.
Perfect. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure all of the attendees, Shaival, have a lot of questions, and most of the attendees were asking if this is recorded. Yes, it is recorded, and I saw you answer, it is recorded and it will be shared, and I'm sure you want to go over it again. But from my end, I would suggest that I'm sure all of you have very specific questions when it comes to your businesses. So if you want to reach out to FedEx, try to figure out how FedEx can partner with you and help you logistically enable your business to send products, whether to Africa or right here in the Middle East. You can also reach out to Jumia and Dario's team to find out exactly if the products, we got a lot of questions about different types of products, whether you can or can't, whether you are at a level where Jumia would accept you to sell your products, if you are a distributor like Dario said or not, and also anything related to Payoneer, you can go ahead and reach out to the Payoneer team as well. Shaival.
All right. Thanks a ton, Crystal. Thanks for hosting this event so beautifully. I would also like to thank all the speakers, Sami, Dario, Gaurav. Thanks a lot for your time. I know it's pretty late already in UAE, and Dario is speaking from China. I think it'll be even later. So thanks a lot for taking out the time. It's midweek. And once again, thank you everyone for joining in. You will hear from us, and you can also reach out to us on the details mentioned on all the presentations. So once again, thank you and good night, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.